What is happening, people of the internet? Today we're going to take a look at Spawn Compendium 1. This video may be overdue, but it's here, so let's get into it. Alright, so here we have one of my favorite characters ever created. This book collects issues 1 through 50 of Spawn by Image Comics, story, pencil, and inks by Todd Mcfarlane. We also have some very amazing and important stories in here that were written by guest writers. 1 issue by Alan Moore, 1 by Neil Gaiman, and 3 by Grant Morrison. Some big names that brought some really great ideas into the Spawn universe. There was also a lawsuit over Neil Gaiman's issue number 9 that we won't get into. Frank Miller also makes an appearance here in 1 issue. We also have some additional inks done by Greg Capullo and Mark Silvestri, as well as a few others. So without spoiling too much of the book, we're going to talk a little bit about the main character, the universe Todd created, a bit about his origin and villains, the build of the book, and so on. So Spawn, also known as Al Simmons, was a government assassin who was killed. He then made a deal with the devil in order to see his wife Wanda again, and in doing so has agreed to lead Hell's Army at the time of Armageddon. He wakes up a burned up looking corpse 5 years later in a dark, gloomy alleyway of New York City, and he is trying to remember what happened to him. And little by little, issue by issue, we get to find that out. It's a serious book. It's mature, dark, sexual, blasphemous at times. Some really amazing storytelling and art. Sure, some storylines and villains aren't that great. Some cheesy villains like Cygor, a robot gorilla, and an awful story arc with Houdini. But I'm gonna say the vast majority of content here is high quality stuff. I'm gonna say about 85%. As for supporting characters and villains, there are many. We have 2 individuals named Sam and Twitch, who are a pair of police officers Spawn comes into contact with after they investigate repeated alleyway murders, Violator, a fat clown / creature from hell, gangsters, mob bosses, Billy Kincaid, a child murderer, Jason Wynn, a major villain, Spawn's wife Wanda, of course, and her new husband Terry, some homeless people that dwell and live in the alleyway with Spawn, including an old homeless man named Cogliostro, who tries to guide and help Spawn throughout these stories. Overwatch, a killer cyborg, Angela, a bounty hunter / killer from heaven, and many other really great characters and villains that show up. One thing I love about Spawn is that he is totally different from other characters. He is a tortured soul trying to regain his humanity and claim the woman he loves, but it always seems out of grasp. I always love how he dwells among the homeless in these dark, sketchy environments, which often finds himself caught up into conflict in one way or another. It works out very well. One thing that is a big disappointment is the cover issues are not included in this book, which is an awful shame because Spawn covers are absolutely beautiful. I don't understand why they wouldn't add them. It's only 50 extra pages. There are compendiums that have more pages than this, so it's not like it's maxed out. They would fit. The only reason I can see why is because Image sells a separate book of Spawn only covers from 1 to 100, so that may conflict with the sales of that book. Come on, Todd, you know we want the covers. I bet if you ask 10 people whether they want the covers or not, all 10 of them would say put in the covers. For the build of the book, it's fairly decent. Print quality is very nice and glossy. However, the pages can feel a little sticky, and you can get some ink smears on word bubbles or your thumbs. Keep that in mind, but this is the biggest bang for your buck if you want to actually read this series. The spine doesn't leave a crease in the center either, but just be careful with it that you don't spread it out all the way open and put pressure on it. So I think that is it, guys. You don't want to miss out on this book if you are a fan of this character. It's very nice that these compendiums are finally coming out. It's very nice to read Spawn in a chronological order. Hopefully they keep pumping these out. Until next time, guys, think about liking, subscribing, and we'll see you next time. Take care.